Alright, I thought we might try to do a live play here of Stonewall Jackson's Way. Hope that lighting's good. I can't really tell from here. Let's see. Alright. Yeah, I thought we might try to play turn 4 live. Maybe August. Yeah, I think I had my turns messed up. I only played 3 turns. It started on turn 25. So we're going to turn 4, which is turn 28. Or August 28, I'm sorry. I need to check something. Where's my glasses first off? It's an old age thing. Alright, let's see. Alright. So just to get you up to date, a couple brigades over here moved out from the DC area. Wagner, and he's going to build some breastworks there. Of course, there's no entrenchment in the 1862 scenarios. Taylor and Scammons, they use rail movement to get to this point. They'll probably go into an entrenchment here. We got the fight going on here around Manassas Junction, where all the divisions are exhausted. Except for that one right there, but he's not very big. You got Pope showing up with Stevens. Yeah, I'll turn all the counters around because I know that to you guys they're upside down. So we'll flip them all around. Maybe as we go. Everybody up here. Let's see, we got some more exhausted. And you got to be careful with these exhausted units because you can do one activation and they'll go to fatigue level 1. And I think if you don't do any more after that, they can recover normally. Actually, I think you can go to fatigue level 2 and they can recover normally. I'll flip the majority of the stuff around as we play. So, got a rule I got to check here because I think I've been doing something a little backwards. But we'll turn these around so you guys can see them. Trying to figure out where the best to put my camera so you can see everything. I guess when you're playing a small scenario, it's pretty easy to see everything because it's all isolated into one area. The Union did lose, actually, an entire brigade. Piat, independent brigade. I think he had 2 strength points. He took the brunt of Jackson's anger for not being able to take the Union supply depot. And of course Heinzelman, he's the one that went in there and threw them back out before they could destroy their supply depot. Right now the Confederates have not taken any of the objectives here along the railroad line. So they'll get to it. They're going to have to get to it because that's how they get their points. Lee and Longstreet are still bottled up down here, and they may have to. I'm going to have to leave an isolated force here along the river. I don't think there's any victory points for Union. So I don't remember reading any about the Union doing anything. I think this is all on the Confederates taking these stations up here. So, and if that's the case, if there's no victory points that are awarded to the Union Army for crossing over the Rappahannock or doing something dastardly down here in the Confederate rear, I may have to pull some of these guys out and move them around. I think we got all the counters flipped here, so I need to check a rule in the sequence of play. I'm not sure if I've been doing something wrong. Alright, yeah, so apparently I don't think it affected anything, but have to we roll the dice every time. Yeah, I got my moves backwards here. Let's see. Thought I had a card that had that on it. It's not. Right. Here we go. Alright, no random events. I'm not playing the advanced phase, so of that. Where'd my little marker go? I lost him. There he is right there. Alright. I know y'all can't see the force pools, I'm sorry. Siegel's first core is this force 12 right here. He's got let's see. He's got 3 divisions. He's got all 3 of his divisions, and he's got Milroy's brigade in his force up there. All right, so let's get over here. Let's get after the initiative phase. Give us some dice here. All right, let's do this. Now y'all probably can't see if I put that there. Confederates red and the Union's yellow. All right, Johnny Rebs first. What does he want to do? I don't think he wants to get Jackson out of there. So he's got 14 in there. And Jackson's sitting on 13. And Ewell is sitting on 14. And do we want to do a core activation, or do we want to do some surprising move? See, they still got disorganized units right here, so I got to be cautious of that too. Then we'll get those back recovered until the end of this side. There's Bev Robertson. He's with Stewart. If I use Stewart in a core activation, the Confederates will get a modifier of 2 dice plus 3. A 2D plus 3. All right, let's see. Man, I don't know, because these brigades sitting here. There's a 3. There's a 2. Or do I want to get after Heinzelman with Jackson? Well, let's see. 14, and he's in that depot. I think that depot gives them anything. No. City. Excuse me. Well, let's see. If they are exhausted. Where's my rules? There's my rules. Up here. Yeah. I'm playing the France 40 game now, and I forgot some things in this one. So it works. What's the effects of exhaustion? Let's see. Okay. If unit on its normal side marches, if a unit on its exhausted side marches and its fatigue level 2, 3, or 4, the action is also an extended march. So really, they're only going to pay if they do something that involves extended march. But if he's exhausted and they get flipped over, see, so if he's exhausted and I use him a second time, he's going to get, he is going to become an extended march use. All right, so let's take Ewell. Well, he's on the back side of that river. I might not want to break him out of there. This is A.P. Hill, whose army is completely disorganized and demoralized, so he probably needs to stay there. All right, let's take a shot with Bev Robertson. Man, see, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want, because these units will eat him up if I try to take Robertson here. I think that Jackson's whole force needs to act as one unit. Let's see, what can the cavalry do? Stewart's got an exhausted unit here that has 2 strength points. He's got 2, he's got a half. I got to get AP Hill recovered and get him back in the fight, but that's not going to happen this turn. All right, let's take a chance on Robertson. All right, we're going to do a core activation right here. We're going to do it with Stewart. So they're going to get a 2D and +3. 5 + 3, so they get 8. That's not very much. All right, so we're going to take Robertson, and we're going to put fatigue level 1 on him. All right. Fatigue level 1 on him, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to move Robertson along the road there. Now let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I move F. Lee, or the 2nd Virginia. Stewart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stewart could go there. And if Heintzelman, yeah, let's make good use of Stewart's boys here. What's he got underneath? He's got F. Lee. All right, so he's only going to use the 1. All right, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to put him beside Heintzelman. That way, if Heintzelman does anything, he can stall him. All right, I can't move them away because of this cavalry sitting down here. So let's get him. And there's really no safe place to put him. Put him in Gainesville, I guess. No, I'm not going to waste that point for that. All right, so there's Stewart's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, he moved you over here. 8. Okay. All right, so back to the dice. Let's see who's next. And Union. All right. So the Union. All right. Heintzelman's exhausted. Reno is not exhausted, but he's only a 7. And he's not going to take on a 14. Pope's got 8. And Reno belongs to Pope. All right, so let's do a core activation with Reno. An infantry leader. Let's see. He is a 1D + 1 for activate leader. So 1D + 1. He rolls a 6, so that's 7. Gee, I need Christmas. He has nothing. There's his cab. He can use that. Nope, 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3. All right, so Reno's there. I need to get 1, 2, 3. Let's get him across the river. So 1, 2. Let's cross the ford. I don't think there's any, unless it's during rain. Yeah, unless it's during a rain. So we'll get him across the ford. All right. And that's a fatigue level for him. What do we got here? Fatigue level of 1. All right, and he's not an exhausted unit, so you probably know what's getting ready to happen next. So hopefully they'll be able to do a joint attack on him there. That would be a grand assault. We don't want to do that. So let's get Reno out of there. Yeah, I don't think you can leave a zone of control. Check. There might just be a penalty or something. All right. Crawl, extend on. Take side. Alright, where's that? Movement general. Rules of movement. Here we go. A unit must stop its movement at the moment it enters an enemy normal zone of control from a hex that is not an enemy normal zone of control. All right. A unit moves hex to hex adjacent to expending number of points equal to the terrain. Marching unit can't expend all some number of points. Action, blah, 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 blah. Exit an enemy zone of control. An active unit may not exit an enemy normal zone of control hex unless it starts its march in an enemy normal zone of control hex and its first activity is to exit. All right. Directly into the hex as on it pays a normal movement cost plus 1 movement point. All right. It moves directly from one enemy normal zone of control hex to another. It ignores the hex's movement point cost and instead pays a cost equal to the unit's entire movement allowance. This penalty applies even if, well, he's not crossing that river anyhow. Right. If the unit moves directly from one end, okay, so he can move and then move back in. It doesn't cost anything to move in, but it costs to exit. All right, so if he were to exit going that way, that would be 1, 2. Yeah. So that would be 1, 2. Oops. And then we'll move him in here. Is he exhausted? No. We're giving him a fatigue level of 1. We'll move him back in here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then back into here. That's 3. All right, so Pope still now. So Pope now has most of his army back together. Now, I've heard other people talking about you can't tell who belongs to who in this game, which actually you can by the color, the commander's number colors. That helps you tell who they belong to. Plus, the units here, they'll have what corps they belong to. And Pope is the Army of Virginia. And let me pull up Reno here. Reno is the 9th Corps. All right. It doesn't say that he belongs to the Army of Virginia. It just says that he is the 9th Corps, which, by the way, I need to get that. Need him on top of that stack there. And the 9th Corps is part of the Army of Virginia. So Reno's got his corps there. And he's looking down Ewell's throat. And he doesn't have anybody else he can activate. This guy was out of range anyhow. He's part of the Army of Virginia, so. All right. So let's go to the dice again. Here we go. You notice I'm not using the little movement track over there because, I mean, that's, I guess, if you're going to do a mass amount of unit moves in a leader activation, it's probably a good idea to use that. All right, so double sixes, the Confederates win the draw. Always win the draw. So what are we going to do here? All right, Stewart's in place. Bev Robertson is in place. I think, what's this guy get over? He's got 1. Can't do a core activation now because Robertson's too far away. So, what do we want to do here? I probably need to put Ewell and Jackson together. So, take a drink here. I probably need to put Ewell and Jackson together. All right, so let's just do a unit activation. Let's go with Ewell. They can always move 1. So an infantry leader by himself, he gets, let's see, for Confederate, he gets 1d1 plus 1. He rolls a 2, so that's a 3, or excuse me, rolls a 6, that's a 7. Doesn't really matter. All right, so let's move him in here to give Jackson. So he would leave and then move in. All right, we'll get him to fatigue level 1. I got to be careful because these guys are exhausted, so Yeah, I should be over there using my force pull stuff for this, but I want you all to see the effect. All right, so now they're sitting on what, 27 points? Yeah, 27 points. You'll be in Taliaferro. And then he's got AP Hill up there. All right, back to the dice. And Billy Yank rolls a 6. Confederates roll a 2. All right. Well, don't want to risk, certainly not that attack with 1. He's got 8, 7. He's only got 15. They're going to need more troops up here. Do we want to get Porter? What's Porter got here? Porter's got a force of 9. And Morel's got 11. He's exhausted. Could get Beardsley's cavalry up here, or see, I think Heinzelman's exhausted. I don't want to burn him out. He's got 14. He needs to sit on that right there. He could attack Stewart, but Stewart will just retreat, and that won't do anything. I probably need to protect this. The question is who can I protect it with? This is turn 4. There are no Union reinforcements. These guys back here, and Whipple and Casey, they can't affect anything anyhow, so. Taylor and Scammons, yeah, the following Union units and leaders may not perform any actions or entrench until turn 5, and that's all of that stuff back there. All right, so we're not on turn 5 yet. We're on the 4th turn. Okay, so I probably need to defend this. So let's do Scammon. All right, infantry, Union infantry by itself is 1 dice. He rolls a 2. God, that is not going to get him there. It's going to leave him out in the open, I know that. All right, so he's going to get a fatigue level. All right, and he's only going to move 1, 2. Ooh, boy. Got to get somebody in there, though, I know that. All right, that takes care of that. It's back to the dice. And Johnny Reb rolls a 5. USA rolls a 3. So, he's got a 1. Let's take a chance here. Let's try to get Robertson down there into that hex. All right. Oh, yeah, because he definitely outclasses Scammon. All right, so Confederate cavalry gets 2 dice. And he rolls a 6. Is that going to be enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, he gets into that location right there. So he will at least be able to damage that when his time comes. I need to change his fatigue level, don't I? To 2. All right, so we're sitting on that. Now, unless Scammon attacks and drives him out of there, which that doesn't look promising. All right, back to the dice. Back to the dice. Johnny Reb again, 3-1. All right, so I don't want to. Well, yeah, because that'll put Ewell in a bad state. I could do a grand assault, but that's not going to make any sense with just 2 there. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're going to have to, because I don't know if he can get any more troops in there to help him, and then eventually Jackson will be able to hit him. I could take Stewart, but that guy's exhausted, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave him be. 2nd Virginia, let's do something. He's disorganized, so that ain't nothing going on there. Do I want to do anything with Robertson? He's got a fatigue of 2. No, I don't. All right, what do we got down here? We've got 14 and 8. Well, I can't. I can only attack with 1 because no, Lee's here. 1, 2, 3, and Longstreet's here. But they would have to be with him in order to do an assault. So that's not going to happen. He could order Hood to attack. I think what we need to do is you can do leaders may be transferred from one subordinate unit to another. No, I mean, I don't need to do that. I need to get these guys on the other side of the river. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to get D.R. Jones over there with Hood. And that would give him a larger force. So let's do, yeah, we can do a core activation here. Longstreet's right there. 1, 2, 3, and 2. 1, 2, 3, 1. You can't reach him though. Anderson's disorganized anyhow, so that's just not going to happen. All right. Evans is sitting on 5. He is sitting on 4. And 6. Well, you could put Anderson. Well, I can't do that either. All right. So let's get D.R. Jones over here. Let's try to get D.R. Jones over here with Hood. That's a 4. Before I do that, let me make sure of these rules of assault. Let me make sure. All right, a corps, division, or district leader may be selected for an assault only if one or more subordinate units at fatigue level 3 or less are stacked with that leader. A movement allowance is not calculated in an assault, and movement points are not used. Thus, the active player does not specify a type of attack. Okay. All right. An assault is performed as follows. Select the participants. The active player selects an eligible leader. Next, he chooses one or more units in the active leader's hex belonging to the same command as that leader. Each unit selected to participate in the action. Okay, so they got to be in the same hex for an assault. All right. And the grand assault, if you try to do a grand assault and the attempt to do it fails, you still have to conduct the regular assault. Now, grand assaults have the assault procedure only if both of the following conditions are in effect. An army or district leader. A friendly army or district leader is situated within the command radius of the active leader's hex. One or more of the 6 hexes adjacent to the defender is eligible to join the grand assault. Hex eligible to join the grand assault. Both of the following is adjacent to the defender, including the hex in which, okay, so I've got that. It must be occupied by one or more of the attacker's units which were not selected to participate in the active leader's assault. And at least one of those units is at, yeah, I got that. All right. Okay. So a player may attempt a grand assault. A friendly army or district leader is situated within the command radius of the active leader. See, the problem is, though, with Longstreet, yeah, but see, these are division leaders. These guys are division leaders. And if that's the case, then, where's that at? Right. So you have core and division leader counters contain 2 numbers, tactical value and a command value. All right, so it doesn't matter. It says, okay, so there's a division leader right there. So he could, okay, you could issue an assault order to him, which would be lethal. because he is on his own. Yeah, I think Dr. Jones needs to move. So we rolled a 4. So we'll go to T level 1 on him. I need to get him over there with Hood. That's the only way this is going to work, I believe. Or I could just pull him off, and they could bypass. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll put him over here with Hood. All right, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4. He wouldn't be able to get there because he's got to add 1 for moving away. Shit. All right. I can't leave Hood's there. Hood to deal. Well, Ricketts could attack Hood if I don't do something. Boy, if that assault fails. Let's see. Do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Because he's got 14 and 8. That's 22. Ricketts is on 8, sitting on 18. That's just not good odds. Okay, I think instead of doing that, it's probably Hood that I need to move. Yeah, I think we need to move Hood back across the river until we can get everybody. So we'll move Hood back across. And that's 1, 2 to pull out. The 4 doesn't cost anything unless it's raining. All right, so we'll put Hood back across the river because he was going to be a very bad target for Ricketts. Because really, like I say, Ricketts has got a strength of 18. All right, so that's it for that move. All right, so Union 4, Confederate 1, Union's turn. Do we want to get Pope in there against Jackson? Because that could be brutal. All right, this guy, he's got a fatigue level of 1, I think. And the guy below him has a fatigue level of 1. So if we do a core activation, I don't want this guy moving. He's part of Heinzelman anyhow, I believe, yeah. All right, so if we do a core activation, Jackson's going to get pinned in. Yeah, let's do a core activation with Pope, which he's infantry, so it's going to be +1. He rolls a 1, that's 2, so it doesn't matter. All right, so let's move him in now. Now he's back in the fray. Really should be using my force markers. I want you all to be able to see this. So, all right. All right, so he's back in there. These guys' fatigue levels go up to 2. All right. Should they decide to attack, that'll flip them to a fatigue level of 3, which means they will end up exhausted afterwards. The only way there's going to be an attack here is if it's a Grand Assault. See, the Grand Assault allows you to use units that are not part of the command. All right, that takes care of that. Let's go back to the die. And Johnny Reb, he gets to go. So what do we want to do? Let's get... Man, do I leave them there? I can't move Stewart. The Demoralize, he can move. But he's got 0 artillery, and he's only got a half tack power. The question is, do I want to move him back down in here? He can't get into... He can get into Stewart. He can also get into here, but you don't want to get him into a... Well, he's got 11. So let's get... Yeah, I can't take them anywhere. There's going to have to be a fight up here. There's just no doubt about it, but I'm not sure. You know, do I take a risk? Jackson is exhausted. So do I take a risk? You got 14 and 13. It's got 27. 27 into 14. Okay. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to do this attack right here of 27. Well, we're going to try to do an assault. That's what we're going to try to do. Characters backwards here. All right, so we're going to try to do an assault. All right. So that's what we got in the Union D position. Right, so he's going to go to a 2. And he's going to go to a 1. All right, so now let's see. All right, so let's go through the assault procedure. Where you at, buddy? I guess I should roll some dice, huh? Yeah. All right, so 5 is a core activation. Jackson adds 2, I think. Core leader. Confederate Corps leader, yeah, he has 2, so he's got a 7. Let's put that 7 up here. All right, wrong one. Wrong one. All right, so we're going to do an assault. So that'll be interesting. Let's see, where's it at? All right, here we go. Attack, procedure, assault. All right. Corps division district leader may be selected for an assault only if 1 or more subordinate units at fatigue level 3 or less are stacked with that leader. Movement allowance is not calculated in an assault, and movement points are not used. Oh, okay. So thus, the active player does not specify a type of attack. I select participants. Active player selects an eligible leader. Next, he chooses 1 or more units in the active leader's hex belonging to the same command as that leader. Each unit selected to participate in the attack must be at fatigue level 3 or less item. There's no artillery in the hex item. Increased fatigue, did that. An extended march never occurs as a result of an assault. I select the target. We know the target. That's going to be Heinzelmann at Manassas Junction. Okay. Cavalry retreat. The enemy player may conduct a cavalry die. Roll for command. The active player rolls a die. The roll may be modified. All right, so let's roll a die. We roll 3. If the roll's 5 or less, apply any appropriate modifier. See below. That's on the next page, I think. What are the modifiers? If the active leader is a district, not a corps or division leader, subtract 2. He's not. All right, so we rolled a 3. So they're fine. All right, and subtract the modified number from the active leader's command value. The result is the assault number. All right, so Jackson's is a 5, and he rolled a 3, so that's a 2. All right, the result is the assault number. Okay. 0 or greater, the assault takes place. Continue the assault procedure. The assault number is the maximum number of attacking units that may participate in the assault. All right. If the assault number is equal to or greater than the number of units selected, then all the units selected in step 1 must participate in the assault. Okay. If the assault number is less than the number, the active player must choose. Blah, 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 blah. Regardless of whether or not the assault takes place, all units selected to participate, even if they ultimately are dropped from the assault, gain 1 fatigue level in step 2. Okay, so everybody's got a fatigue level. We know that. All right, determine the combat values. All right, combat values, not manpower values. So let's see, we've got attacker, defender. All right, the combat value for the Confederacy is 27. And the combat value for the Union is 14. All right. All right. Determine the die roll modifier. So tactical and artillery. So Jackson has a tactical value of 6 and a correction. Wait, am I using the right one? Can we use Jackson for that? Can I? Let's see. No, Jackson has a command value. All right. Corps commanders and divisional commanders have tactical values. So let's see. a tactical value, no, he's a courtier. A tactical value, any command value, but no red star. Okay, so he does. He has a 5. We can use him. All right, and Heinzelman has a 3. All right, so they're going to get a 2. Oh, I'm sorry, I got to throw that. That's sorry. So the odds are going to be 1 to 1. My bad. Because it's 1 to 1. 27 to 14 is 1 to 1, and that is, where'd my odds table go? 1 to 1 is there's nothing. So there's going to be no plus for the die roll. It's just flat out 0. All right, the tactical value is Confederates get 2. All right, the Union he's got a -2. So, all right, artillery value, Jackson's a 6, Heinzelman's a 5. So the Confederates are going to get 1 more. All right. All right. Artillery modifiers, including the automatic +1 assault modifier. So they're going to get +1 for assault. All right. And we want to look on the table here. Where's our table? Go through these modifiers. All right. So for the defender, cross a bridge, dam, or ferry, no. Defending in a mountain hex, no. Defending across the creek, no. Gunboat, Union panic. Half the combat value hex, no. No. Hunt bonus, no. All right. Attackers die roll modifiers. Flank attack, no. Artillery modifiers, already did that. Oh no, I got to do the artillery modifier. So it's +2 down here, and they are in. Yeah, see that modifier might not be there in a station. Clear, rolling, rough, woods, city, or mountain. That's not a city, it's not woods, it's not a mountain. All right, so that would be considered clear or rolling hills. Where's my key terrain? Clear is the sort of orange, yeah, so that's clear. All right, rolling hills would be the greeny stuff. Okay, so that's clear. So it's a +2 for the artillery. So the artillery is the artillery value differential. Attackers' artillery value minus the defenders. So it was 5 minus 3, that was 2. All right. So there's not going to be any effect. Oh, wow. Wow. So there is no. Okay, so just prior to combat. Artillery attackers, artillery value differential. That's interesting, because according to this, we don't get anything on that. We don't get a thing. That almost doesn't even sound right. Because Jackson's got 2 more than him. Tactical modifier, artillery modifier. All right, let's look at that again. All right, if the city, mountain, or swamp necessary turn. If the defender occupies a woods, city, mountain, or swamp hex, it is not necessary. Okay. The attacker adds the artillery values of all attacking units. Ah. All right, so he's got, 6. Oh, I get it. Yeah, okay. So 10, 11, 12, there's 13. All right. And he's got 9. So it's 13 minus 9 is 4. Okay. All right. Of all the attacking units, and subtracts the combined artillery values of all the defending units. The result is the artillery value differential. On the artillery modifier summary, cross-index the appropriate differential column with the line corresponding to the returning. The result is a positive or negative number or no effect. The artillery modifier that is applied to the attacker's die rolls. Okay, so he's a +4, so it's going to be no effect. So there's really, I guess that's saying that the defender sort of bounces out the defender. So, all right, yeah, not much I can do about that. All right, so let's go back to what it was we were doing. 9. All right. Okay. So there's not going to be any artillery. Okay. All right. So we figured out all that. So it's going to be 6. All right. So let's roll away and see what happens. Roll both dice. All right. There's 1 for the Union and a 5 for Johnny Reb, which converts to a 9. So 9 minus 1 is 8. So we go to the 8 plus 8 right here. All right. Now you use their manpower strength. So that's 14 for the defender. We go here to the defender, 12 to 18. He's going to get a 4 DR with an asterisk. 4 DR. All right, so he's going to lose 4, which is going to give the Confederates 4 points. All right. Get this out of the way. All right, so he's going to lose 4. So let's change that 14 down to a 10. I know I got a 10 somewhere. Right there. All right, so he becomes a 10 now. Get that back in there. All right. He becomes disorganized and fatigued. So that becomes disorganized. He gets a fatigue level of 1. Okay. And he is routed. No, wait. Unit is routed and demoralized 2 because he had the asterisks. All right, so. Wow. And Heinzelman's with him. So, all right, so from the depot, get these out of the way for a second. He gets routed and he gets a demoralize of 2. Wow, that's a stinger, isn't it? All right, and he's got to get out of Dodge. So he's going to have to retreat and go back towards D.C. or... Oh, boy. Porter in the 5th Corps. And he's from, there's Sumner, there's Franklin. He's part of that back here, I assume. So you got Porter, Heinzelman, Kearney, that's another one of his units. Yeah, he's got to be part of this cluster crap back here. Because he's not part of these boys up here. Yeah, so this is, yeah, what a failure. All right, so he's going to go back towards D.C. Man. All right. He's in there, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3. All right. So they get, on the victory points, the Confederates get, let's see, for each rout, demoralized result obtained in combat against, okay, for each R maintained in combat against Union infantry, for each R, rout and demoralize. Okay, so they get another one for demoralizing. All right. All right, now what happens to Jackson's group there? On the same table, he had, what did I say, 27. We go across to 27, and guess what? For a +8, he gets a small a, which means he can advance. All right. He already got his fatigue level applied, so. Now, the deal is, he's gonna have to get attacked. There's no question about that. He's taken the depot. He didn't suffer any casualties at all. They've been fatigued. So their next thing will be to destroy that station. So when they destroy it, that supply thing gets taken down with it. And since Jackson has got this in here. Boy, if he could have just attacked with only one unit, that would have been great. Stewart's his own thing. He's his own corps commander. So I guess depending on who does next. All right, so let's go to the dice. Where are we at? All right. All right, the Union is next. Man, he is going to have to go in there. 7. He doesn't have the strength to do that. Now I think I'm starting to understand why these Union forces down here pulled back towards Manassas. I got 7, 8. He's only got 15 strength points in there. He's not going to do nothing. 15 against 23. They've got to get an army down here. They have got to get an army down here. That is not the answer. All right, what's Porter got? Porter's got 9. Man, all they're going to do is go up there and get smacked in the face if he doesn't do something. You can't attack him. He doesn't have enough in there. What did I say he had? He had 7. And he's only got 15. That would be 15 into, what did I say, 26, 27? Yeah. All right, we're going to pause this one right here. I got to take me a little break. We'll resume this later. All right, so I went ahead and finished out game turn 4. I was having a hard time understanding why all these troops down here didn't just stay here and keep Lee and Longstreet bottled up. Then I realized that all the troops up here really aren't that numerous in strength compared to what Jackson's wing has. So you can see what happened. Jackson went in there and attacked Heintzelman after he got Ewell and Taliaferro together and drove Heintzelman out. And actually, he hit him pretty hard. He demoralized him. He sent him running. And he still had, was it Taliaferro, I think, on the next activation. He only had 1 fatigue after the attack, so he was able to go ahead and destroy Manassas Junction, which almost sounds sacrilegious as the Confederacy. And he was also able to destroy the Union supply depot. Bev Robertson shot around over here to Barnes Mills, over to Sangster Station, and he was able to damage that station. So there's, between those 2 stations in the depot, there are 17 victory points for the Confederacy. So that worked out okay for them. Who's it? Porter's 5th Corps. Morrell's starting to come up. Porter's up there, but he's not very strong. Even if I get all these units together, they are not going to be that powerful. But they really don't have many options. They're going to have to go in there and get Jackson out. Even though, well, the depot's already destroyed, so their best bet is to sit and protect what they've got left. Probably need to get more strength in there. That one's only damaged. If I could take that away from the cavalry there, at least I could keep it from getting destroyed, and probably need to protect these. Now, I think next turn some of this stuff activates and they can move out and sit on these. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Lee and Longstreet moved around, and they punched some of Banks's boys in the face. I had to send Bayard's cavalry down there, hopefully to delay them, so when Lee gets ready to move, Longstreet underneath there gets ready to move, try to cut some of his movement points off. Because I'm sure the Confederates' intention will be to drive towards these stations over here. Let's see. Another cavalry unit here. Beardsley went up here and chased off the 2nd Virginia. Buford's still not activated. He can't activate. McDowell and the unit under him can't activate. Ricketts is trying to fall back. King is trying to fall back, but he's fatigue level 3 now. He was. Now he's just exhausted. Siegel's first corps is still idle. They can't do anything. So they won't be moving. At least not yet. But I imagine, though, depending on what Lee and Longstreet do, might trip them. They can actually, if this unit here doesn't cross over and get in next to McDowell, that part of McDowell's corps will just sit there through this fight. There's got to be a rule about that. There's got to be a certain phase where they can become active, but I didn't see one. I didn't read one. All right, so I'm going to put this in on the back end of the little live play I did, and then we're going to continue on with the August 29th turn is what I'm fixing to start. And we'll see how things go from there. And we'll get back to you with an update after that. Should be interesting.